So how's everybody doing? I'm back with another video. I haven't been here in a minute. I've been working on my other channel, my sports podcast, Two Birds and a Third. But, you know, I understand that the last video that I made on this channel was kind of in poor taste. It was done for satirical reasons. It was done for irony, for comedic purposes, and I understand now. Nobody came up to me and told me that, it was a bad thing, but I understand now that it was a bad thing. It's a type of thing that I want to emphasize more on the channel, that type of video. But I understand that, it's a hot button topic, especially when it deals with kids. So I just want to talk about the whole situation. And the reason why I wasn't really making updates is because A, I didn't really have much time, and B, because I really wanted to see how this DaddyOFive thing ended up turning out. And first and foremost, those two parents are disgusting. Okay, I'm not a parent, so you can say, you can criticize people when you're like those people, when you have kids, right? You can start criticizing them then. But I can tell you right now, there won't be a single time in which I'm abusing my kids like that. And it's a lot of, or some YouTubers might profit off of their kids, like the Shaytards profited off of their kids, but they didn't really put their kids in harm's way. They weren't really abusing their kids. They were just making these funny, quirky videos. But yeah, this is something that for me just came out of nowhere, and I'm kind of appalled at the fact that nobody touched on this. It was 3-4 months ago when I think this channel started coming up. I don't know, it could have been more, but nobody showed red flags. No one was like, "What are you doing? This is disgusting. This is awful." And yeah, it is. It's disgusting and it's awful. And my issue with the situation is that A, the parents took no responsibility for this. Absolutely none. At no point were they like, "Oh, we're sorry that this happened. We'll change our ways. We see the problem, we see our issues, we see that we're abusing our kids." If they came out, now I'm not a PR person, they could have had issues if they came out and they were like, "Yeah, we abused our kids, we're sorry." That's definitely telling the truth, and it's definitely putting them in a better place in their life where they're admitting to their problems and trying to push forward to solve it. Maybe that's a situation where they might be able to possibly get their kids back, but it was none of that. They were blaming other people. They were blaming Philip DeFranco for exposing them. And I do honestly think it's disgusting that if anybody threatened the parents, anyone threatened the kids, the parents probably deserved it, but you let the cops handle that. You let the police handle that. We don't need vigilantes going around and hurting people who hurt others. Yeah, they probably deserve it, but it doesn't mean that you should do it. But it was that, coupled with the fact that they were lying about their kids. Now the biggest tell to me was they were talking about, Cody wasn't allowed to go to, which was the redheaded kid with special needs in school. And it was one of those things where they were talking about how he was smearing poop everywhere. He was smearing poop all over the bathroom, all over the toilet, and that's why he wasn't allowed to go to Disneyland or Disney World, one of those. And I remember in the interview that they did where they were like, "No, we were actually lying. He wasn't smearing poop everywhere. He actually clogged the toilet. That's why he wasn't allowed to go to Disneyland." And we didn't want to embarrass him for clogging the toilet. And you're just thinking to yourself, well, I would rather my parents, if I was smearing poop everywhere, I would rather my parents tell people that I clogged the toilet, not that I was smearing poop everywhere. You think that smearing poop everywhere is a whole lot more embarrassing than clogging the toilet. Now, yeah, they've got 7 people in their house, But Cody's like an 8-year-old kid. Like, I imagine it's kind of hard for an 8-year-old kid to clog the toilet. I mean, I do it all the time, but because I've got massive cramps. But TMI. But you're not gonna see an 8-year-old kid probably clog the toilet, and I just don't understand why the shift in tone from clogging the from smearing poop everywhere is a lie for him clogging the toilet. It doesn't make much sense to me. Now, why would a kid smear poop everywhere? A kid like that is going to smear poop everywhere for attention. Likely because they're getting abused. Now, the whole smearing poop around and the clogging the toilet, that could have just been a lie. That could have just been a lie for publicity. But seeing that kid get abused, like, they're yelling at that kid, they're hitting that kid is interjecting for attention in a video, and just like, hey, just be like, hey, and the dad will just be like, expletive, 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 just cussing this kid out. And you look at the kid's fingers. I mean, there was one video that I saw where the kid had 1 Band-Aid, 2 Band-Aid, 3 Band-Aid, all over his fingers. Now, I was a kid, right? I was a kid. I kept safe. I wasn't abused. You know, I don't think I had that many injuries. You can see bruises all over his arm. And looking back to me being a kid, I don't bruise easily, but I could see situations in which I was probably bruised like 4 or 5 times. And they were like horrible bruises. They weren't, and it didn't happen because anyone hit me. It was because I actually fell, and I really actually fell. That's not a joke, or that's not me lying. But I never remembered getting bruises on my fingers. Why would he get bruises on his fingers? Getting stepped on, jamming his fingers while he's getting thrown down. What his big brother literally just pile drove him straight into the ground. It's something in which I couldn't even fathom. It was so cringy. Them laughing at him, them telling him that they didn't want to live with him anymore, them joking around about that, and then, oh my god, I mean, the one kid slapping the girl in the face. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I really couldn't. I was disgusted by it, and I really was. And now to hear that the 2 kids that belonged to the dad, the 2 redheaded kids, they got taken away, and I think they're now with the biological mother, and I think that's commendable. You know, this family had a real chance to come out in front of the law, in front of people, and be like, yeah, we did this, we're sorry, we want to change, but we also want our kids back, and we want help, right? But none of that happened. It was just deflection, and trying to make people feel sorry for them, which wasn't happening. Telling people that other people were lying, that none of this was true. Meanwhile, they deleted all the videos on their account, so that looks extra suspicious. I've heard that they went on like Good Morning America, and now they're on the run. So, and the police are looking into all of this. It's just disturbing. But here's the real issue, right? What about these kids? You know? What about these kids? You know, these kids are the victims in all of this. They really are. Even the ones who are committing the abuse, they are the real victims here. Because they are put in this environment, they're put in this household that is just toxic. It's cancer. And, you know, these kids are going to grow up, they're going to be screwed up. They're going to be screwed. Because they lived in this household, and that's how they believe that their parents are supposed to act with them. They think that this abuse is okay, and it's not. It's absolutely not okay. It's just disturbing. Just the verbal abuse, the yelling, the physical abuse, the hitting, the pile driving, the wrestling. That stuff shouldn't happen, you know. And he's like a 7 year old kid. Like, you can't help but feel sorry for this kid because he's a little guy and everyone's making fun of him. And gosh, I can't imagine how he must be feeling. A lot of people blame Child Protective Services, which Child Protective Services is not legit only because these agents, these people who are involved with CPS, they've got like hundreds of cases. They've got a workload, a caseload. They got all that stuff. You know, there's just not enough time in the day for them, you know? And I can definitely understand all of that. But someone should have done something. Someone should have done. This is like the Elliot Rodger situation, where Elliot Rodger, the police literally come to his house and they're like, "Okay, well, what's this? What's your YouTube channel?" He's like, "Oh no, it's not an issue," and then he goes and kills 6 people. So I hope that the 2 kids that got taken away from DaddyOFive, I hope that they're able to live productive lives. I hope DaddyOFive and MommyOFive are punished for their crimes because they're disgusting people. Okay, it's one thing to use your kids to get views and get money, but it's a completely another thing if you're abusing them at the same time. So this is Biased Political Agenda. I hope to be making more content later on in the week. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Peace.